Germans will head to the polls on February 23rd, following the collapse of the three-party coalition government last week. Chancellor Olaf Scholz has said he will stand again as the Social Democrats' candidate. But the main opposition, Christian Democrats, have a big lead in the polls. Their leader, Friedrich Merz, argued for a quicker election.
Let me just remind everyone that we do not have a federal budget for 2025.
The three-party ruling coalition collapsed following disagreements over raising new debt to finance the 2025 budget, including the provision of military aid to Ukraine. Berlin is the second biggest donor of military aid to Kyiv after the United States, giving around $11 billion worth since Russia's February 2022 invasion. The outgoing government had planned to cut that aid to just over $4 billion next year.
It's bad timing for Ukraine, bad timing for Europe. It means Germany will be preoccupied with itself for a few months before we have a new government.
The election is set to take place just weeks after the inauguration of Donald Trump as the next US president.
The worst case that many fear in Berlin and Kyiv, an incoming Trump administration taking power in January, then slashing or ending the Ukraine aid, will force the German government, the lame duck Scholz government with the current parliament, to increase the funding for Ukraine.
Also not clear is what the incoming Trump presidency could mean for wider European security, including the deployment of US forces and equipment, such as long-range Tomahawk missile systems, says analyst Marina Miron.
What else might be reversed is the placement of Tomahawks in Germany. So we have quite a situation where, let's say, Trump might pursue an anti-globalist agenda and push NATO countries to invest more of their GDP into defense.
Europe froze about $200 billion of Russian assets following Moscow's invasion of Ukraine. The interest is being used to help fund weapons for Kyiv. Some argue it's time to seize the assets entirely.
Europe is sitting on a war chest of $200 billion of frozen Russian assets, and I think the incoming Trump administration will push the Europeans to go further. And that's welcome news from the Ukrainian side, to not just give loans and credits based on frozen Russian assets, but to move to confiscate the assets themselves. And that's certainly something many in Germany also support.
Chancellor Scholz oversaw German efforts to end reliance on cheap Russian energy, but analysts say that has driven inflation and undermined confidence in Europe's biggest economy. At the same time, analysts say Germany is struggling to overcome decades of underinvestment in its armed forces, something the next government will have to address. Henry Ridgwell, VOA News.